Hello, and welcome back to Behind the Post. Today I'm joined with Noel Block, the founder of Tiny Marketing, where she supports small B2B marketing departments and marketing agencies by increasing their know, like, and trust factor by producing their content marketing, social media posts, and email marketing. She's been leading small marketing departments for 15 years and uses her time-tested systems to create educational and trust-building content more efficiently. You can learn more at sarahnoelblock.com. And without further ado, Sarah, are you ready to go behind the post with me?
I am.
Amazing. Let's do it. I'm not going to lie. I've been absolutely counting down the days to record with you because I know I'm going to learn so much and my audience is going to take so many good insights away from this episode. And I'm specifically really excited to talk about social media copy, and writing thought-provoking content, which I know we'll get there. But I'll start you off with an easy one. Let's take it back a little bit. Could you just give us a brief look at your professional journey and how you found yourself as a CEO?
Yes. So I started off as a one-person marketing department for a seven-company group. And it was as hard as it sounds.
Yeah.
I had to be the social media marketer, the blogger, the everything marketing director for seven companies. And of course, that means seven bosses. I was reporting to seven
Wow.
different presidents. And I just found myself really overwhelmed and not sure, like not really able to focus because I was being pulled in so many different directions. So
Mhm.
I built my system. I learned how to streamline, automate, and really build out systems around how to be able to market when it was just me and a few outsourced people and a whole lot of work to do. So that's what I've been doing since. That was one of my first jobs, and since then, I've started working with B2Bs on their content marketing and building out systems so it's really sustainable and it doesn't burn you out.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, that was your first job. That's actually insane. That's a lot to handle at your first
It
job.
was early in my career. It was not
Yeah.
my first job. My first job, I was like a marketing coordinator, and it was during the recession. I ended up getting laid off with a bunch of other people. That was
Oh,
the
gosh.
first one.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, I'm definitely excited to touch more on those systems that you have created. But before then, I know you work with a lot of B2B marketers. So I have to ask, where are small marketing teams missing the mark today?
I think that they're missing the mark a lot with getting shiny object syndrome. They are seeing all of the new things that are coming out, getting excited and trying them out, and they're not taking anything all the way home. They're
Mm,
not seeing the projects that they've put together to fruition. So they're not getting the results they want. And it's not because they can't, it's because they aren't going through and finishing them and then checking out the analytics, seeing where it's working, and
mm,
testing, tweaking, and then trying again.
yeah. I feel like a lot of us, we all can get that way sometimes where we see something new. We're like, oh, we have to jump on this. We have to try this. And you spend so much time planning and so much thought goes into the planning. And then I feel like sometimes you just don't see it all the way through, or you send it out there and then you never loop back around to see the performance.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see how that happens.
The planning's the exciting part, and then the doing comes, and you're like, oh, this is a lot of work. And then you're like,
Exactly.
why isn't this working? And then checking the analytics is boring, and seeing
Yeah.
where it's falling flat is boring. So we just don't do it. And
Hmm.
that's where we're getting it wrong.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, hopefully we'll get some more insight into that so we can start seeing things all the way through and start seeing more incredible results. And I will also need to admit that I was stalking your LinkedIn profile. And I know we kind of touched on this earlier, but I found something profound and I just want to read it to everyone listening in. And it says, for 7 years, I was the marketing team of one for five companies simultaneously. I built a system that allowed me to expand my bandwidth without expanding my budget. So first, this is incredible. Like I already mentioned earlier, I was a social team of one for about a year. And that was just social. So I couldn't even imagine doing all of the marketing activities. So first, kudos to you for that.
Thank
And I
you.
think now more than ever, this will be something really important to unpack because budgets are shrinking, teams are starting to get smaller right now. And I would love if you could just go over this system you created. How were you able to do this? And could you just add in any advice you have for marketers who are currently going through this if they are a very, very small team or a team of one trying to do the job of multiple people?
Yeah. So start actually, it's what I do with my clients now. So it's pretty easy because it's right on the top of my head. But start with quarterly planning.
Mm,
It's agile enough that that you're not thinking too far ahead because a lot of people
mhm.
think annual plans. But
Yeah.
quarterly, it gives you that space to be able to adjust as the seasons change.
Mhm,
And for myself, working with those different presidents, I would just sit down and have a meeting with them and think of it like for anybody listening who might be an entrepreneur or freelancer, think of it like a discovery call. You're having a discovery call with your boss and figuring out what it is, like what business goals they're trying to accomplish, if there's any specific accounts they're trying to reach,
mm,
and if there's anything that they really want to talk about that quarter. Start there, have that discovery call with the president, and then you can go back and plan out the projects. So I would do that with each of the presidents, have my little quarterly discovery call, plan out my quarter, and then I would batch it. I
mm,
would spend I would set aside time and create a little retreat
mhm,
and create all of that content at one time. And I did this a lot with repurposing. I would take the
mhm,
bigger pieces of content that I needed to create and then break it down into all of the littler things. So let's say, okay, I needed to create an ebook for a lead generator. I would take that ebook, break it down into blog posts, break that down into email posts, and then those all into social media posts. So I repurposed a lot, batched,
mhm,
and all of this is managed through project management. So don't forget to have that project management tool so you can stay organized with what you're doing. And
mhm,
then when you're bringing in outsourced help for support, they can be added on there and it's easy to pass that baton over.
mhm,
So I streamline, don't do everything. Choose the core piece of marketing that you're going to create each quarter and then repurpose it.
mhm,
Streamline, systemize, put it in a project management site, and make sure that it's easy to pass that baton to the next person that needs to be part of it.
mhm,
Batch, so it's easy to do. You're doing it all at once, and automate everywhere that you can. So I would take all of those social media posts, put them in my social media automation platform, make sure it was all scheduled to go out, take those emails, schedule them out ahead of time, put those blog posts, those videos in my CMS and schedule it out ahead of time. So all of it was created at once. And then when things
mhm.
happen on the fly, which they do all the time, like this is an emergency, I need a sell sheet,
Yeah.
then you have that time to do it because you've batched all of the big important things already and scheduled it
Mhm.
out.
Amazing. Well, first question, what is your favorite project management tool?
So I'm obsessed right now with teamwork.
Okay.
It's so good for agencies
Mhm,
specifically because you can have clients in there with a different view level, but you can also
mhm,
track invoices, time, you can automate everything. But I started on Trello, it starts free and it's super easy.
mhm.
And I mean, the most important thing with a project management tool is one, you can template everything,
Yeah.
like those projects that always look the same. You can
Mhm,
have that in there, and you can have people outside of your organization in there. So, any freelancers or contractors that you work with, you guys can have
mhm.
seamless communication still.
Yeah. We use Trello at Oktopost, so yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
I like Trello a lot.
yeah, it's great. And then my second question, how long does all of that take? The batching, streamlining, how long?
Yeah, what I did is I created time blocks. So what I did is like for 1 week, I would schedule a day to create whatever that content was. So honestly, it probably took me 8 hours a week to create everything for the month. And then I was
Wow.
able to spend the rest of my time working on, like I was part of the leadership committee and, those on the fly projects. But it probably took only about 8 hours a week to get all of the core marketing done for the month.
Wow, that's incredible because it takes me a long time to create content. It always takes you longer than you think,
Yeah, it
especially,
does.
it really does. So that's incredible. And I do want to talk about social and writing social content right now. I find that it is really hard for me at times writing copy. Sometimes it just does take longer than you think. So I would love to know a few of your best tips for writing that really engaging, thought-provoking content. I know you mentioned you have a little formula that you use to A/B
Yeah.
test, so I would love some insight on that.
Yeah, I like to write a lot of different hooks when
Mm,
I'm creating my social media. So lots of B2Bs pay me to write their social media posts, specifically their LinkedIn posts.
yeah.
And they always look kind of the same when I'm handing them to them because I will give them like four different hook options. And
Mhm.
then the body is usually the same. And then give them a couple different CTA options
Okay.
with a few strategy options. Like these are people that would make sense to tag in this. It would make more sense if this was a poll or a newsletter format. Give them some strategy around it
Mhm.
and let them know how to get the most impressions and employee engagement with that content. But
Mhm.
yeah, I start with a lot of hooks.
Mhm.
And that's the way a lot of sales conversion copywriters do it too, is
Mhm.
start with a ton of different email subject lines because the hook, the headline, the email subject line, those are the things that get people to say, okay, I'll click more and see
Yeah.
what you're talking about. Those are the things that really matter.
Yeah, exactly, and I actually have a doc where I just keep all of my hooks just so I can keep
That's
track, and
awesome.
if I get stuck writing a post, I just go and scroll, I'm like, "Okay, good, I can use this."
This one will work.
Yeah, and so it's always good for me. I just sometimes when I get stuck, it's nice to have somewhere to go. Um, but do you have any tips for growth? I know you mentioned, you write a lot of copy for LinkedIn, so do you have any tactics that you found for growth on LinkedIn specifically?
Yeah, if we're talking about company profiles,
Yeah.
um, definitely ask people to follow. I think a lot of people think their profile's there and people are just going to follow it because they like the company, but they're not going to think about it. So actually ask
Mhm.
people to follow it. Encourage employee engagement. Anytime you write a post on your brand's profile, you can just click a little button and it'll send to all of your employees so they see it and that'll encourage them to engage with it. Something one of my clients does that I absolutely love is that anytime they write a LinkedIn post on their company profile, they shoot out an email to certain people within the organization with the link to that post and asking them to engage with it,
Mhm.
comment on it, reshare it.
Yeah.
And all of that helps a lot because personal profiles are what really matters. That's what people are going to. Think
Mhm.
of your profile for your business is more like, okay, I'm to the next level. I'm past awareness and
Mhm.
I'm looking for more information about your business. That's when they go to you.
Mhm.
So those personal profiles will really amplify your business
Yeah.
profile.
Yeah, exactly, because we don't actively follow brands, like, we actively follow other people and connect with people, and again, we're all human at the end of the day, so it's those
Yeah.
connections with other humans that make sense, and that's where employee advocacy has so much power because you're connecting on a more personal level, and you can build those relationships, so I think those are really amazing tips there. Incredible.
Yeah, yeah, it makes the biggest difference. And there's even tech tools out there that will allow you to share your posts from your employees' profiles if they chose to opt into that.
Mhm. Absolutely. Well, look, we are nearing the end of the show here, but I definitely could not let you leave without talking about your ebook. So, for anyone listening in, could you just let us know what your mission was behind your ebook? And if anyone wants to read it, what value could they expect from reading it?
Yeah, so I created that ebook when I, within my first year, I was able to get to 250K. And I thought, other service providers need to know how I did this. It was really formulaic in the approach that I made to launching my business. So, this ebook is everything I did to become known as an expert or a trusted advisor within my space before I
Mhm.
launched my business. So, it's basically my playbook of what I did to launch.
Amazing. Well, I will definitely be downloading that and studying it inside and out. That's absolutely incredible. And my last question here that I ask all of my guests, and I'm very eager to hear your answer. It is, what is one thing you wish everyone knew about social media marketing?
That it's really about people. It's human to human, and while brands matter, it's the people behind the brands that actually matter. That's who people fall in love with. That's who people trust.
Mhm.
And putting them, having your employees embrace social media in a way that shows their expertise is going to make everybody go farther.
And that I'm in love with that answer because that is everything that we stand for here at Oktopost. We believe that the power is truly in your employee's voice. So
Mhm.
I couldn't agree more, and I have a smile on my face hearing that answer because I love it. It's just exactly what us B2B marketers need to be focusing on is those relationships because we trust people. We brands are just a logo. We at the end of the day
Yeah.
connect with people. So I really appreciate that answer. Well, thank you so much for joining me here today. I think we talked about so many incredible things, and I've loved hearing about the systems and everything that you do. And I just feel honored to have you on the show.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for joining me behind the post.
Thanks.